PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. Hey, this is the last PK52 Saturday morning meeting for the year 2020. It's a wrap up and a challenge. It was a very interesting year. Listen, not everybody in 2020 suffered. There were people and companies that flourished during 2020. I'll give you an example. I have no idea in the beginning of 2020 where Amazon started out, but I feel like they're going to be in a much better place at the end of 2020. Some of the big box stores like Walmart and some of the places like that grew significantly during the year. And then some of the small restaurants or small businesses, because of the governments in the cities and the state, basically shut them down, and some people have completely lost everything. And all of us know that. So wherever you are, 2020 affected everybody. We're going into 2021. We got some mopping up to do, but it looks like we're about to turn the corner. So my challenge to everybody is there was somebody or a group of people that made 2020 happen for you, made it possible to survive the year. Let me give you an example. And what I'm going to challenge you to do is either text or video post publicly your thanks to the people that helped you survive 2020. Let's say there was a couple of parents or a single parent that had a child 10 to 14 years old. Let's call it 12 years old. So immediately school shut down and they went to a digital learning format. This 12-year-old student had to become a college level learner. So to be able to provide their own schedule, to be able to log on, to do their classes, to be able to stay up with their work on their own. Because the parent or parents may not have been able to be home because an income had to be made. So this superhero was this 12-year-old child that was put in a situation overnight where everything had to change. And there's a lot of kids out there that stepped it up. Or maybe your parents came over and took care of your small children during the year. Without that help, you couldn't have made it. So I'm going to go right into what happened with me. So I lost everything in a flash. So my whole year was gone. There was no reason to try to move back into a retail store because some stores had completely closed down and nobody knew exactly what was going on. Fortunately, what I'd been working on with Toyota was the pre-owned side of the business, the certified side of the business. And new car plants shut down. The manufacturing plants shut down. So there's no more new cars coming. New car inventory shrunk. And used cars was the only way dealers were going to be profitable. So no work coming. Courtney and I decided that, you know what, let's go ahead and make sure that we're supporting the industry for Toyota. And we put out a 12-part series of the best overall practices to be able to do used cars and certified cars, to be able to increase your inventory and how to display and market that to the consumer. And we sent that to the regional managers. Some sent it out, some didn't. That was on them. There was no charge. I wasn't hired by Toyota to do it. But with the 30 years that I've invested with Toyota, you know, there's time to give back. And at this time, there were still new hires coming on in the business. They're running with a smaller group of people, and we felt like that is something we needed to do, so we did it. Then Toyota comes back 4 months later, and they say, well, we need to get some training going. We still want to have Sales Society and everything else, but everything has to be done on a digital format. A year earlier, I tried to talk about doing some classes digitally, and Toyota told me they would never do classes digitally because they want the person that's learning to be in the environment, either remote or at the dealership, so we could physically sign them in to make sure they got the information. So never going to do a digital until everything is digital and nothing is going to be live or a remote learning at a hotel. We had to change everything. So Courtney and I talked about it. The very next day, she comes back from Home Depot. Comes up into one of the rooms, moves all the furniture out of the room. She insulates the whole back wall here. This is insulated. There's a window there, giant insulation there for sound for the street. Then put in a drapery, put in all the stuff, a 50-inch monitor, a lav microphone, and we're able now to do a live training class. They didn't want anything recorded and sent out. They wanted it to be live, to be able to answer questions live, and we produced hundreds of these for the year 2020. Courtney sat downstairs while I was upstairs doing the class with 2 computers, a tablet, and a cell phone all logged on to different networks, making sure that whatever feed that we were sending out, in whatever format that you were watching it on, made sure that there was no glitches in audio or video. And she sat there and watched 4 devices hundreds of times. I don't know how she did it. The year turned out flawless. We created that digital format and gave you everything that we possibly could. We're excited about moving forward in that into the next year, but I could have never done this without Courtney. What a superhero. She worked with all the regions. She answered all the questions. Whatever they asked her to do, she did. It was an unbelievable year. So my challenge to everybody is, who are the people? Who was the person that made you survive the year 2020? It has been the most daunting year that most of us that are alive right now have ever experienced in our history being alive. Take a second. I'm going to put this on YouTube. I'm going to put it on Facebook. I'm going to put it on Twitter, and I'm going to put it on MeWe. I want everybody that follows me or has a chance to see this to realize that I'm dedicating my year 2020 to Courtney Nix. This is the last PK52 Saturday morning meeting of 2020. I will see you next year.